Hey, man, where's your loyalty at? The MVP? How are you? Good to see you as well. Well, I would love to see Nicole in a dunk contest. I don't know if any 50s would be given out, but I think you'd find a way to make it pretty creative. Wow, great question. Jerry Sloan, have a lot of respect for Jerry Sloan's body of work, consistency, how long he was in Salt Lake City. Incredibly enough, I don't believe he ever won Coach of the Year, which to me is ludicrous. I mean, Jerry Sloan, class act, and a hell of a coach that did it at a high level for a really long time. So, and I had a chance to meet him a few times and was just really impressed with not just the coach, but also the man. And so that would be him or Pat Riley. John, yeah. So he's going way back. He's going way back. See, I'm thinking NBA, and obviously John Wooden is arguably the greatest coach of all time and had a lot of success. So you can't argue with that. Interesting note, and I didn't know until recently, that both Joe Mazzulla and I attended the same high school at much different periods in time. While my father was the head coach at University of Rhode Island, I attended Bishop Hendricken High School, and Joe went on to star there many years later. So, small world. Not me.
Coach, are there any rule changes that you would like to see? Not a better balance between offense and defense?
All the rules that are put in place favor the offense. And that's why it's getting harder and harder to defend in the NBA. If you look at the scores and the points per game and the field goal percentages, they're all at career highs in NBA history because the NBA, they want to keep the fans invested. They want to make it an exciting game, so you understand that. But if you're a defensive-minded coach, it's really hard to get defense into a game when every rule is advantage to the offensive player. But we have a great game. We're never satisfied. Adam Silver, the commissioner, does an amazing job of always looking to see how can we make this great game even better. And that's all you want from a commissioner. It's hard. I mean, this year, and I've been in this league over 20 years, how many 50-point games have there been? How many games have you woken up and said, wow, this guy had 70 points, this guy had – what's the high this year? 71. I mean, so I don't know how you match that. I mean, you have some teams in the NBA that are really good defensively. So you got, I think, getting the right personnel is really important. Getting players that can come in and guard. And I think in today's NBA, versatility is a key word. Like, you have to have size and versatility. Go back to the conference finals last year, the NBA finals. If you couldn't guard, you weren't in the game. I mean, because what's everybody do? They look for the weak spot. They call them up, put them in pick and roll, and attack that matchup. So there's a reason that the two NBA final teams were two of the best defensive teams in the NBA, Golden State and Boston. So it's a matter of coaching, developing, and getting the right personnel within your system. Yeah, we flew out here together yesterday and had a lot of great conversations. 8 years together, it's amazing how fast it's gone. He's won 2 MVPs. He's going to be in the mix for a third. What I marvel at is the consistency. I mean, this guy has done it at a high level every year and every night. Like, it's just amazing that there are no bad nights. There are no off nights. The consistency is just incredible. On top of the unselfishness, the IQ, and his ability to make everyone around him better. No, I think, yeah, I think Nicola's going to turn 28 years young tomorrow. 28 years young, and he's still getting better. Right? I don't think anybody, you should never put a ceiling on yourself. He can get better as a leader. He can get better as a player. He can get better in every aspect of the game. So,
very best talent, apart the possibility to make in any given day that figure or this the ball.
hey, great job last night. You made New York City proud. Christ the King. All right, Jose. For me, the best thing that he does is pass. I mean, like, because as he often says, passing brings joy to people. You know, he makes everybody else's life happy. So he makes people smile. He makes people better. And the rebounding, the scoring, the steals, he's got great hands. But by far, if you said, what's the one thing that stands out about Nicola, it's his ability to pass the ball and to see things that most people don't even see are there.
Did you get good vibes from Astoria?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Coach Ferropoulos says hello.
Oh, that's my guy. That's my guy. Johnny Rocket.
What would you say would be your worst matchup in the West, and how confident are you?
No, there's no worse matchup. We're number one team in the West. You have a lot of teams are really talented. So at the trade deadline, at the buyout market, the Western landscape changed. We had a lot of guys come over, but I don't think there's. Is there a tough matchup? Yeah, they're all going to be tough. We play OKC in the first round. That'll be a tough series. They're a good team. So I don't put one team ahead of the other. You get into the playoffs, you're going to play a good team.
You see as the most competitive season of the recent years?
Yeah, I mean, this is we could potentially play Golden State in the first round. They won the championship last year. So the West is loaded, a lot of depth, a lot of quality teams, and we have 23 games left coming out of the break. And so we'll see what happens those final 23. But I expect a very competitive postseason with a lot of upsets.
Did you happen to watch the game of Greece against Serbia with Nikola against Giannis in the summer? Did you happen
I saw some highlights. Yeah, I saw some highlights of that.
to ask you if you got any plays that you saw and were interesting to you?
We-
European plays.
Oh, I mean, you know, we're always looking at all the top teams in Europe. I mean, yesterday was a crazy game in Belgrade. You had Red Star and Partizan, which was a 4-hour affair with a lot of emotions. But for me, for my staff, we look at other NBA teams, we look at college teams, we look at Euro teams. And if there's something that we can take from a team that fits our team and our personnel, we use it. Yeah, we're always looking to learn.
Coach Ferropoulos to be in your coaching staff, but he had to stay in Greece. Are you still open, not about Giannis, but about any European coach being
Yeah.
added to your staff?
Yeah. Yes. You know, Giannis Ferropoulos is a friend of mine, very good coach. Got to know him when I was coaching in Cleveland many years ago. And basketball is a universal sport. I mean, all over the world, there are great coaches. I get worried. You know, I don't, he's an MVP. I'm a much better coach when he's healthy. Yeah, okay? So I get worried if he gets hurt. But, you know, Serbia is it's a basketball country. They love their team. And there's a lot of pressure on those teams to win and win at a high level. But when he plays, I support him and I root for them. And when he doesn't play, I'm a little bit less worried.
Make the opposite question. Is any reason for an NBA coach, one of the most coaching Europe?
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's. I think George Karl did it. You know, he was Mike D'Antoni. So I think coaching is coaching. I mean, this is the highest league in the world, but you look at the top teams in Europe, that's high-level basketball. And, you know, the NBA is a little bit different than the EuroLeague, but I think being open-minded, going over there, experiencing a different culture, a different city, a different league, yeah, I think it's definitely something that is intriguing for a lot of people.
Have you ever taken something from European style of basketball?
Yeah, no, yeah, different. Where it could be an out of bounds play, it could be a half court set, it could be a zone defense. I have a coach on my staff who's Serbian, Ognjen Stojakovic. So yeah, we're always looking and learning and taking. Coaches are thieves. We steal from each other, whether it's in America or Europe, wherever it is. Yeah. Well, I think once we realized that we had a special player, not your traditional center, if you will, a guy that we could, I think maybe 3 or 4 years ago, the number one pick and roll combo in the league was Nikola handling and Jamal Murray setting, which is weird because usually it's the opposite. You know what I mean? It's usually the big screen for the small. And then as we got into it and we saw how effective Nikola was, you could put him in catch and shoot situations because most 5 men don't know how to guard that. It's usually everything is inverted for us. So when we have a small screening for Nikola, now you have a guy in New Orleans trying to guard him who may have a hard time trying to guard a guy in that situation. But he's the IQ, the skill level, and the ability to play make. You can put Nikola in any situation and something good's going to happen. Yes, sir. All right, so I want to make sure I got the participants. Yourself? I know. Mac McClung, KJ Martin, and who's the fourth? Well, I'm going to go to the guy with the microphone because I've seen up close and personal in New Orleans a couple of dunks where I became a fan after I got initially pretty pissed off. But good luck tonight. Yes, one more. Go ahead, Trey. You know what? I'll go Kendrick Lamar. You got it.
History in Sacramento. What do you think about their rise and seeing where they're at currently?
Oh, I think it's great. Yeah, I think the Sacramento fans when I was there were amazing. And we won 28 games, I think, my first year. But the fans there are diehard, passionate, loyal fans. So for their sake, more than anybody, like I talked to De'Aaron this morning and Sabonis this morning. Mike Brown, I worked with in Cleveland. Jordy Fernandez was on my staff. Great people out there, great fans. And I'm just happy for those people that they have a team that's competitive and hopefully going to break that playoff drought because those fans have been waiting and patient for a long time. I don't know. I mean, you never want to be on the losing side of light the beam. I want to say screw the beam. How do I see the league going offensively? Oh, defensively. Yeah, I mean, what you've seen when I first got in the league to now, 20 years ago, nobody was switching like they do today. Now everybody switches everything, most teams. So I think, as I mentioned earlier, if you want to be a good defensive team, you have to have size, length, and versatility. And that's the key to being a really good defensive team in today's NBA. Because when you get to the highest level, to take teams out of their offense and to eliminate three-point shots, because it is a three-point-centric league, teams that switch everything. So now you don't have to help as much, and you make teams try to beat you with twos, which analytically speaking is the worst shot in basketball. So it's definitely a challenge. Oh, I mean, obviously, three-time All-Star, big, strong, physical, great rebounder, leads the league in rebounding right now, very good with the ball, capable playmaker, and obviously he can score in the post, he can score facing the basket, and obviously being the son of one of the best players ever, that's a lot to live up to, but I think Domas has done a hell of a job, and I don't know. I just know who number one is. Well, that's our guy, Nikola Jokic. He's definitely up there. Yeah, Domas is a hell of a player, and that's what you love about him. He can score, rebound, and play make at a really high level, and that he's a big reason, obviously, that Sacramento is in the position that they are. Achu. Oh, I mean, I think I think the thing that's changed from the Charlotte time, Mike, is I think we're seen in a different light. You know, I think, you know, the last 5 years, no one's won more games than us. We have a 2-time MVP, about to be a 3-time MVP, and we're the number 1 team in the West by 5 games with 23 games to go. So if that doesn't bring you respect, I don't know what will. But the great thing about it is, like, we're not worried about all that. You know, we're just focused on trying to bring a championship to Denver. That's what motivates all of us.
So you're talking to Dame, SGA, someone else. What are those conversations like? Obviously, you're a fan of the game. I'm sure you're a fan of those guys. Is that just how the hell do we stop you guys?
No, I mean, like, you know, Shea being from Canada, knowing him for a while, talking to him, mentioning the season that he's having, like, you know, Shea is having an all-NBA type season. I love what they're doing in OKC. Dame, when I was an assistant coach in Golden State, I was going to watch his draft workouts. I mean, these were like legendary workouts. And to see 11 years later and the career that he's had, you know, it's about relationships, getting to know, like, I don't know Zion. I want to get to know Zion and talk to him and let him know I hope he gets healthy again, because even though I like playing New Orleans when he's not playing, the game is better when Zion plays. The game is better when all these guys play, because we have the best players in the world. So I look at this weekend as an opportunity to just get to know some of the guys that I may not have a relationship with, and make sure I congratulate them and let them know that they should enjoy the weekend. Yeah, well, the first question, for me, I would say yes. And when you talk about, I mean, it's Bill Walton, it was Vlade Divac, was, you know, I'm trying to think some of the other guys that would be in that conversation. I think Nikola, if he finishes this year with 10 assists per game, he will break the record for assists by a center that Wilt Chamberlain currently has. So Wilt must have been a pretty good passer too, on top of being a great scorer and rebounder and everything else. So, but for me, in my short time in this league and being around the game through my father, I would say Nikola is the best passer that I've ever seen. And where does he get it from? I tell you a quick funny story. Year 1 with Nikola, we were doing some drills in practice. They were ball handling drills. And as I'm watching this guy handle the ball, I'm saying, he handles the ball better than a lot of our guards. And I grabbed him. I said, he goes, Coach, I used to be a fat point guard. He goes, and I kept on getting taller and taller, and I became a center. So I think maybe when he was young, he had the ball in his hands a lot. But I think the great passers, I don't know if it's something that you can work on. I do think it is innate. I can go into a gym and throw 100 bounce passes against the wall. But when I get into a game, can I read through the defense and make that pass on time and on target? So I think it's more innate. It's a God-given ability that Nikola has. Coordination, vision, and seeing things before they happen. I don't know if somebody's got a seminar that you can watch to get that, but if they do, sign me up. Yeah. So I was with them in 2019. Obviously, I haven't been there the last few years, but I do. I see him. I deserve to be here. You know, I'm an MVP. Not that he walks around saying I'm an MVP, but I think he's gotten really comfortable with the other great players in this league, on top of being on this stage. And it's always great to be around him and his family at these events, because I said, Nicole, the last All-Star game, we were on the plane together. There weren't all these little kids. This time it's his daughter, his niece, his nephew, and you know, it's funny how life changes so quickly, and Nikola, he understands that. But, yeah, he's definitely gotten a lot more comfortable than he. Yeah, I mean, like it was about kids, it was about families, about his future, basketball. You know, he told like, one thing I will share. He said, Coach, and he was being serious. I'm going to tell you, I'll be a great assistant coach. He goes, I don't want to be a head coach. He goes, there's too much shit. He goes, but I will be a great assistant coach. And I said, okay, well, let me know when I'll hire you. I'll hire you. I can't promise how much I'm going to pay you, but that's what I love about spending time with Nikola in a non-stress environment. Relax, have meaningful conversation, and that's what this is all about. It's about relationships. It's about getting to know somebody and having a genuine relationship where you care about somebody. And that's how I feel about Nikola and his entire family. This job, sitting here on this stage, no, he was talking like, you know, as a coach, you just got to do so many other things that aren't coaching. But when I get to deal with guys like Mike Singer, who can complain? Or Vinny. Well, first off, he's a great player. You know, he's an MVP candidate. His ability to score the ball, rebound, play make. You know, he's like Nikola in a sense. Like the ball's in his hands all the time, and he makes every one of his teammates better. He makes big shots. He loves the moment. He loves the big opportunities. And he brought Dallas to the Western Conference Finals last year. So, yeah, Luka Doncic is one of the stars of the NBA, one of the best players in the world. And the amazing thing about Luka is that he's been doing it at a high level since he's 14, 15 years old in the EuroLeague. And now he came over to the NBA, and he didn't miss a beat, and he's been playing at a high level since he got into this league. So he's a great talent. I really do. I was just on Sirius XM with Sam and Frank Isola. If you look at the standings right now, there's a chance that we play Golden State in the first round. Golden State, as we all know, they won it last year. And you know, if those guys get into a playoff series, we know what Steph and Clay and Draymond and Andrew Wiggins are capable of doing. You look at right around the trade deadline, I wake up and I see Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving have come to the Western Conference. I think this playoffs is going to be the craziest playoffs in a long time. I think there's going to be upsets. I think there's going to be literally a lot of teams that you could say make a strong case that could win the NBA championship this year. And the Eastern Conference is really talented. I don't know if they have the depth that the West has, but, I mean, you have teams like Boston, Philly, Milwaukee, Cleveland that are all really good. So I think it's going to be a wild and crazy postseason. And if you're an NBA fan, how exciting is that? Because anything can happen.
Wide open, does it cause more stress? Is it more excitement? Like, what is sort of your approach to it as a guy who's obviously coaching teams in the West?
Yeah. I'll be honest. Like, maybe it's because I'm just kind of finally growing up a little bit and maturing. Like when KD came over and Kyrie came over, like, okay, like, no disrespect to those players, but there's a lot of really good players and teams in the West. I mean, the Clippers, when they fully get healthy and all those guys are playing, what does that look like? So we know that Phoenix is going to be a tough team to beat. We know that Dallas will be a tough team to beat. But I'll be honest, I mean, you play Oklahoma City in the first round. And I'm not just saying this to say it. Like, every time we play that team, it is a hard-fought win, if we win. So I think there's a lot of talent. But my energy, my focus is on our guys. How can I help get Thomas Bryant acclimated? How can I help get Reggie Jackson acclimated with only 23 games to go? And if we're doing our job and we're healthy going into the postseason, well, I like our chances. Yeah, I mean, it's been definitely a challenge. You know, I mean, Jamal went down 2 years ago, and that was the year we felt we had a real chance, and it was just bad timing. And then last year, obviously, no Jamal, no Michael. So being healthy and adding guys like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Bruce Brown, drafting a guy like Christian Brown, trading for Thomas Bryant, signing Reggie Jackson, you know, we feel that we have a chance now that we are healthy to do some damage in the postseason. The regular season is great. I love that where we're at, but it's all going to come down to the postseason and how we're able to, find a way to advance. Thank you. Oh, good question. I watch a lot of volleyball because of my daughters, but I can't say I take a lot of anything from that to our game. When I had an assistant coach, Jordi Fernandez, who he brought over some handball type drills just to get some maybe better hand-eye coordination for deflection. So we're definitely open-minded, but I can't say there are other sports that I look at and try to take things from that sport and use in our sport, but always open to anything that can give us a competitive advantage. No, I don't think that'll ever change. The NBA is a business, and the NBA keeping viewership, keeping fans is really important, and I get that, and everybody who works in the league gets it. So the rules are in place because they want high-scoring games. They want to showcase the best players in the world and let their talents be on full display. So I think it's going to stay the same, and we as coaches, we as players have to adjust to the rules. Yeah, I mean, you got to find ways to get creative. You know what I mean? Like the league is one thing about the NBA and the game itself, the game is always changing. Like it's when I got in the league 23 years ago to now, it's changed. And in 10 years from now, it's going to change again. And you want to be ahead of that curve. You want to be the team reacting to it or fighting that. So, yeah, it's fun. You just got to make sure you're constantly challenging yourself.
Are you missing Jordi? What's your opinion about his work with Sacramento?
Yeah, Jordi was a big part of our staff. Miss him, a friend, co-worker. We were together in Cleveland years ago. Miss his wife, Kelsey, and their kids. Great family. And it was an opportunity for him to go to Sacramento and be Mike Brown's lead assistant. And it was an opportunity he couldn't pass up. So happy for Jordi and happy for the success that they're having. I mean, everybody knows a lot about everybody, so we'll be all right. Do you want to take a photo of me? I would say 2. Yeah.
You gotta go, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.